hand is the possible construction of the Uintabasin Railway. The Uintabasin Railway would be built from the Union Pacific Main Line, and this is the Union Pacific Main Line, stretching from Denver up through Salt Lake City on into Idaho. The Uintabasin Railway would initially haul Uintabasin waxy crude from the Miton area to the Union Pacific Main Line. It has been asserted by opponents of the Uintabasin Railway that all it would ever haul is oil. And it's just a oil production boondoggle that will never do anything but haul oil. This is demonstrably false, which I will now try to demonstrate. Consider some other cases of rail construction built for one purpose, but eventually doing something else. Consider the Malad City branch. This branches off from Brigham City and goes up to Malad City in Idaho. This line was initially built to support agriculture in northwest Utah and southern Idaho, and the line ends at Malad. This line now serves a steel plant in Plymouth, Utah, just south of the Idaho border. Now, the reasons for citing a steel plant, and I bet a lot of you didn't know that we actually have a steel plant in Utah, but the siting of the Nucor steel plant in Plymouth had a number of instigators, but I can tell you that this steel plant would not be there in Plymouth were it not for this Malad branch. This is an example of constructing a railway for one purpose, but eventually doing other things. Okay? The Uintabasin Railway would be a common carrier like the Malad City branch is. Consider another example. The line from the Union Pacific Main Line down to Moab. That line was initially built to serve a potash mine nearby Moab. It still hauls potash, but now we have a luxury passenger train service going from Denver down to Moab. This would not be possible without that branch into Moab. This is an example of a railroad being built for one purpose, but serving common carrier interest to do other things. And by the way, it's just a matter of time before we have passenger service from Salt Lake to Moab. Rail passenger service from Salt Lake to Moab. Just a matter of time. Considering this matter of railroads as a development device, let's consider a negative example. There used to be a branch from the Union Pacific Main Line down to Marysville, Utah. This is was the Marysville branch. This connection was severed by the Billy's Mountain Slide in 1983. And the state hemmed and hawed about restoring that connection. These were tough years for the Rio Grande Railroad, which was operating the line then. And the state just could not get its act together to come up with funding to restore that connection. So because of that, this Marysville branch was lost. Losing that rail line has retarded economic development in San Pete, Sevier, and Paiute counties tremendously. The failure to restore this line was one of the most boneheaded decisions of Utah state government. So let me tell you, railroads matter. Railroads matter. Now, consider another aspect of constructing the Uinta Basin Railway. The Ute tribe, the Ute tribal government, very much wants to see it built because they know this constructing this Uinta Basin Railway now to export Uinta Basin crude is probably the last chance the Uinta Basin has to get a rail connection. The Ute tribe knows what it's talking about. Now, if we built it, if the Uinta Basin Railway is built into the basin, it will stimulate other kinds of economic activity, just like what's happened in Moab and what's happened out here in northwest Utah. Now, you need to understand how the Ute tribe is concerned with this. You know, the Ute tribe was expelled substantially from the plush valleys of western Colorado. They were expelled to the Uinta Basin, theretofore a worthless piece of real estate. Let's face it, the Uinta Basin comes in a distant second to those Colorado parks, okay? But, you know, wouldn't you know it, we discovered oil where the Utes were sent. Okay, now the Utes have rights here, and the environmental community, so-called, doesn't want to hear what the Utes have to say. The Utes understand how important the construction of this railroad will be to economic diversification in the Uinta Basin. They want it, they deserve it. And the environmental community in Utah needs to take them seriously. Okay? So, I support the construction of the Uinta Basin Railway, and as a means of diversifying the economy of the Uinta Basin for these reasons. Thank you.